one time up for Chi Ali, cause I could be in a box if I ain't see that screen.
Peace. This is your brother, the lone low life with the home sewn garment, the Boricua with the build, the true and living God stepping in score, Sunez aka Skillustrator Low, your host for the Dug Down Dive, where I'm going to take you back in time through the Dug Down catalog for musical appreciation of select LP devastation. For this episode, I'm going to dive into an MC debuting through the 2000s, those dark ages I call it, and has become an essential MC of this invisible Renaissance era. 2012, the year we're talking about, is a special year for hip-hop to me. Though I made the term invisible Renaissance the next year, its seed, this era's most important year to me was 2012. The LPs that dropped this year are signature works in the year and also in their catalog, like Sean Price's Peak LP, Mike Tyson, Remembered in Perfection P, and who I call the greatest superstar of this era. There's Kaz's Brief Pedigree, and the best way to immediately see him is as he's the MF Doom of this era, Remembered in Perfection Doom. There's Rock Marciano's Reloaded, great rising works by Spit Gems, Rhapsody, Timeless Truth, Starving Beat, Apollo Brown with OC, Rex, Shazzle York, and others that would signal their ensuing dominance and open up the depth of this era. It's also a year of many legends and greats with strong albums from Nas, Public Enemy, The God Sadat X, Buckshot and Ninth Wonder again, Bumpy Knuckles with DJ Premier, Showbiz and AG, and Wu Block. It also had an unknown great, the late, great Kevlar 7, brother of Bronze Nazareth, who released his two greatest LPs that year. All right, one of the great lyricists, and that goes unnoticed, may have been forgotten, and is a wonderful crate to go back into. Please look back on those albums from my family, my god brother, who's crucial to you even seeing me here today doing hip-hop. Remembered in Perfection, Kevlar. Still, the album we're looking on in this episode is one of Brooklyn's finest, A Dream Deferred by Skyzoo. Skyzoo, one of my absolute favorites, and all-time MC and all-tool MC. He's a true pictorialist who rhymes with such a revolving wordplay that interplays homonyms, entendres, and any near rhyme in sight, manipulates the syllabic structure to mold the flow and inflecting peaks and pops that recreate the memories he recalls in novel vignettes. All powered by a verbal dexterity rooted in superior breath control to actually complete these athletic verbatim journeys. The real life of a young black man from Brooklyn has a contiguous oral score. Skyzoo rhymes massively at any break's pocket, melodifying with inflection and a spoken melisma, a flurry of accents that bring a unity to his drum accompaniments. I can't think of many MCs debuting the last 20 years that overtly create albums as complete books that are to be audibly read, where his songs have layered concepts underlying an overwhelming amount of entendres on entendres and aphorisms in the style of hooks and catchy punchlines. Each song has a concept that always fits into the overarching theme of the entire album. Back in 2012, I said this about A Dream Deferred. I said it's in the middle of the beginning of Skyzoo's progression. It is art music, and I'm today's modal hard bop man working to appreciate the progression of Miles into funk and Coltrane into avant-garde, usually seeing others with dismay and appalled fury at the shit this is all becoming. and you'll see why when I said that. I said because Skyzoo, who's a jazz enthusiast, often has albums that have heavy infused synth instrumentation and funk grooves with R&B hooks, often as the soulful amplifier. It's no jazz, like the way I'm thinking of jazz. There's no difference in A Dream Deferred. There's the chimed and airy drive, sandy drum that upticks in the bouncing groove and horn sets on Jaleel Beats' Range Rover rhythm. The cut horn blast blare on Ninth Wonder's jazz sport strings. Illmind's great works on the smash splat snare and Jill Scott's always lush, isolated chorus belting on Dreams in the Basement, the Melvin Bliss drums on simple surround chimes for pockets full, or the warping bass waves of Give It Up where the break comes in for added chaos. The simplicity of the room-filling shimmery cascade of chimes through the plodding drums on DJ Khalil's The Rage of Romello. The production choices Skyzoo uses often have a drum familiarity, but a musical sensibility that is wildly vibrant, but also filled with tinges of pop appeal. In 2012, nothing really sounded like this, even though other seminal records seem more progressive. Skyzoo knows about my distinction of the eras to a better understanding. In interview builds I've had with him, he tells me he's taken the best of both eras. The crossover catchy hook appeal of the 2000s and the grit lyricism complexity of the 90s. So there's what I like to call You know, he's got the pretty hiccup exclaiming the pocket groove. You know how he'll say a bar like on Steele's apartment where he says, "Throw down, stand up, and die for it," like Blizzard did. Ha! You know, that's the pretty hiccup. The ha! You know, 40 ounces on 40-degree days. You know. Then he making rhythms by using the same word in many different ways in perfect syncopation. The syllable matching is perfect. As the song continues with penning 40 bar verses with 40 on each page and writing around the holes. I'm running around out of room when I'm writing, so I suppose. You know? And also able to internal rhyme for the complexity of the rhythm. Really giving it dexterity as he's using the O sound here, continuing with my pose is more in depth. My pose along the steps is home, so to the death we was built to play the right and I chose to bust the left. Now the word right doesn't rhyme in that sequence, but he produced such a syncopated pendulum of bounce and swerve that it does. This whole verse is impeccable, and I only use the end of it to point out some things, you know, these little notes that of excellence. An overarching universal theme also of Skyzoo is the rise up and the excelling and the longevity of that rise up that stays when you're at the mountaintop. It makes his songs here consistently anthemic. Glass ceilings, where he masterfully uses all these techniques to make a mantra told in endless pocket swimming aphorism, right? The common thread, it's probably better if you never run, or find a legend you could level if they ever come. I'm about this bread, God bless if I'm ever shunned, say I took it just the way that I was taught to. You wait and you'll be late when they applaud you. You say that if I lost you there's nothing left to seek out. I say that if I lost you wasn't supposed to be found, so we out. Man, you know, it doesn't give it justice the way Michael Eric Dyson these bars, but, you know what I mean, like, the understanding is there. There's no song that doesn't have a lengthy quotable like this, and it really becomes an uplifting daily score to go back to at any time. This vibe is also stretched out to the tails, as on Focus's blaring synth with Raheem DeVaugh's R&B vocals on Drew and Derwin, his gift for creatively expressing details all over, from I build walls after I compress them, or I give you mic, you give me ad-libs, right? Woo! Or what he does so well, using fictional characters to metaphor and mirror his own struggles, as on the Rage of Romello. That gift is why his current LP, The Mind of a Saint, is one more of all the brilliant things he's recorded. So what I did there? I did a Skyzoo right there. To close, 2012 is one of the great years in hip-hop musical history. And for Dug Down, it ought to be also in the context of one of that year's greatest event. The greatest I saw that year. The Dug Down Holiday Party on December 18, 2012 out in Medina, Brooklyn, of course. With all of the mic lyricism techniques and stylistic flourishes with music that really is filled with sounds that should be on the radio. If radio was actually caring about great music that also appeals. Skyzoo came out with a trumpet player and showed us something else. You know? Always pushing the envelope, trying something new, and continuously succeeding has been really the hallmark of this brother's career. You know? Skyzoo to me is one of the great MCs we'll ever hear. His albums continue to be audiobooks of longevity, and A Dream Deferred is one of the peak performances to go back to, enjoy, and read, listen to, indulge in, blast again and again. Alright? So peace to all the producers of A Dream Deferred, and to the brother Skyzoo for his sincere amiability to constantly break down and build on his craft works. So peace to Dug Down Music, and if there's any album you'd like to hear me build on, let us know in the comments, okay? Make sure it's a Dug Down label album, okay? Until next time, I'm Sunez aka Skillustrator Low, and this has been another Never Respect Fake broadcast. Peace.
One time up for Chi-Ali, cause I could be in a box if I ain't see that screen. My mama prayed that I wouldn't be Chi-Ali.